If you want to understand why it is that so many young people broke for Zohan Mandami in New York, and why so many young people are embracing the rhetoric of socialism, look no further than this short clip of Sam Altman, the head of OpenAI, where he discusses how he, has made billions blowing up essentially an AI bubble, which appears to be a bubble, and how not to worry because in the end, the federal government, that is you and me, the taxpayer, will bail him out. Capitalism is supposed to be a system of, wins and losses. But in a world where the billionaires only win, don't be surprised when kids go, forget this, man, I'm embracing socialism.
Some level, when something gets sufficiently huge, whether or not they are on paper, the federal government is kind of the insurer of last resort, as we've seen in various financial crises and insurance companies screwing things up. So I guess, given the magnitude of what I expect AI economic impact to look like, sort of, I do think the government ends up as like the insurer of last resort, but I think I mean that in a different way than you mean that, and I don't expect them to actually be like writing the policies in the way that maybe they do for nuclear.
And there's a big difference between the government being the insurer of last resort and the insurer of first resort. Last resort's inevitable, but I'm worried they'll become the insurer of first resort, and that I don't want.
And the truth is, we all know that the government with these giant companies now is the insurer of first and last resort. And let's be clear, it's not the government, okay? It's the U.S. taxpayer. It's you and me. We're the ones who insure these giant banks and now probably the AI companies, the military industrial complex. If you're part of that world, you're good to go, okay? Now, if you're an executive in that world, you're insulated, all right? You're getting paid a lot of money, all right? And even if things go south, for whatever reason, you're still walking away, untouched, probably. You are never going to feel the cold wind of the market forces. But for the rest of us, and I say this as somebody who is a financial advisor who saw just carnage in 2008. But for the rest of us, we see, maybe occasionally we get the ups of the market. Okay, that's the way it's supposed to be. You see that you work hard, you get gains. Okay, but we also see the downside when the market works the other way against us. There is a whole class of people now insulated by government, okay, who never feel the consequences of their actions, which in turn creates a much worse situation for those of us who operate outside of this bubble that these executives and these other people, and there are lower level people who exist in this world too, operate. It's not fair. And so people go, these young people look around and go, there's no way I'm never going to be a part of this connected club. So why don't I just rely on the government to give me my basic things, my housing, transportation, all these things. I'll just give up any hope of ever, entrepreneurship, any sort of, making a life for myself that is, extraordinary, because the system is rigged anyway. The big guys are going to get paid. I might as well get my little tiny piece of the pie and I'll just suck it out of the system just like they do. The real alternative to this whole thing is capitalism, is actual capitalism, is free market capitalism, where if you work hard and you're smart and you make wise decisions, and Lord knows I have made some unwise decisions in my life. All of us have. Okay, but if you work hard, you make wise decisions, and you string them together, you can be successful. It sounds so quaint now. Back in 2011, when Against Crony Capitalism was founded, a significant part of our mission really was to warn people who believed in capitalism that if we didn't curtail crony capitalism, bailout culture, too big to fail, that sort of thing, that we were going to pay the price because people were going to start going, hey, this system is not working for me. And then those people would start looking to things like socialism, like serious socialism, not just, Social Security socialism, but real hardcore socialism. And we warned people over and over and over again. It's like, you need to embrace actual capitalism. You need to have winners and you need to have losers. People need to feel like it's a fair fight. We've had a decade and a half of an unfair fight. And guess what? People are making a rational decision here. A lot of kids are coming up in a whole system that they've known is crony capitalism. And they are making a rational choice in embracing, socialism, at least from their perspective. They're looking, all they know is their rents are going up and their opportunities are diminishing. And they're looking for some alternative. And nobody, aside from us and a few other people, are out there saying, hey, what we need to do? We need to reform towards free markets. No, very few people are making that case. Well, a lot of people are saying, hey, you know what? Rents are going up. Lump it. Too bad. Well, a lot of these kids are saying, well, that's just not fair. Why do the rich people get all the good stuff and I'm just, left out in the cold? I'm going to go vote for Zohan Mandami. That's the situation. We said it was coming. It's here now.